Chunky, do you want to sit down? Yeah. Chunk, come sit here like a man. Come on up. Oh, good boy. If he sits through this whole interview, it'll be amazing. Chunky, I love you. I don't want, oh, this is the cold. That fucking dog. Just when I think I can start to trust him.
Cheers.
Cheers. L'chaim.
Yes. To your success, to your show, 190 countries.
Woo. Ooh, yeah. Whoa. I usually like to wait till a little bit later to drink. What time is it, 11 a.m.?
Yeah. So I started to drink with 5 years ago because I wanted to have like meaningful conversations and like not be out to get that one sound bite and like connect with people and build relationships. So when your show came out, I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Like you're having, and I learned from your show as
Thank you, so do I. I'm so excited that I'm learning.
Yeah, no, it's like the topics you cover it's informational, so I love it.
Thanks.
So, how do you prepare for interviews? Especially like the sit down ones with like maybe Amy or Renee. Do you even prepare? Or
you know what? I don't, for those kinds of interviews, I do the least amount of preparation because I know so much about both of them. And I mean, I've grown up with Renee Zellweger, you know, and so I feel like if all the questions that I naturally have are going to be questions that everybody has,
right. I
mean, as a conversationalist, like I want to have an interesting conversation with anyone I meet at a dinner party. So for those people, I kind of feel like I know what people want to ask them.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's different styles, obviously, with different people, but I do most of my research when I'm talking to somebody that I know nothing about, obviously, like if it's a politician or if it's like, you know, the Secretary of Education I had on for the very first episode who had like this insane story of his childhood and how he came to be the Secretary of Education, and his family history was so impressive. So people like that I really don't know anything about, then I do my research.
Sure.
But if it's somebody that I'm like comfortable with and that I follow and that I know, then I know that we're going to have a normal, like, cool conversation.
Yeah.
Just by nature of being curious, you know?
Right, and let it go wherever it like may lead. What's a topic or something that I love that you're curious and want to learn things yourself, that you want to dive into that maybe like you haven't shot yet, or maybe that the producers don't know that like you want?
I mean, everything's pretty much on the table. They pitch me different ideas all the time because they're like, you know, whether it's related to science or math or astronomy or the moon and the sun and all that, like it's stuff that I respond to, like women's wrestling, or do you want to go to UFC? Do you want to do something with them? Do you want to do, like, it's kind of like the world is your oyster, you know? The only place that it's really hard to shoot with is the NFL. They're very protective. They don't want anybody like saying anything negative, and they don't want a loose cannon like me involved with them. So that's the only place where I'm like, oh, I'd love to go learn about football because I know nothing about football. Yeah. But I know like what I respond to. If I have an interest in it, then it will be interesting to watch me do it or investigate it. Sure. If I don't, then I mean, if I'm not interested, then I can't expect viewers to be interested in it.
What is something about show business that you maybe weren't prepared for or didn't know about?
I don't know. I felt like I was a celebrity when I was like 3 or 4. I'm like, why isn't everybody trying to talk to me? I'm pretty prepared for it. I don't really have any boundaries really. So privacy for me has never been a thing. I don't really care. I don't take myself seriously enough, some would argue. So I don't really have any of those issues. Like, I don't care if somebody takes a picture of me, really. You know, unless someone running on the beach and like cellulite's like visible. That's the one thing like I try not to do too much. If I'm around paparazzi, I don't get up. I'm like, all right, you can just sit there. But I don't get chased or any of that stuff. I feel like I'm an open book, so there's no mystery.
Right.
And I'm not that kind of celebrity. I'm like a talk show host, you know, and I'm doing my thing and just kind of. The only thing I haven't been prepared for, I would probably just say that maybe you start to have an unhealthy relationship with fame. That maybe is something that's not great, but you know, you can deal with that in a healthy way.
Yeah,
you know.
At what point did you feel that way, or you needed?
I just remember
you were aware of it.
I remember like coming back. I had taken like a year and a half off, and I did these documentaries for Netflix, which are separate from the show, but. I had been away for a year and a half, and like, I remember like walking. You get used to people looking at you and saying hi, and like, hey Chelsea, hey da da da. And I remember walking down the street in Santa Monica on Montana Avenue, and somebody was like, "Where has she been?" And I was like, and it was in such a nasty way. I'm like, oh shit, was I gone too long? Like, do I have to start up again? I'm like, wait, what? It just freaked me out. And then I thought, what the fuck are you? That's her shit. That's not, who cares what that woman says?
Right.
So there was like a moment of like panic. And then I was like, okay, that's silly.
Yeah, right. So talking to people and making people laugh comes easily, or it looks like it comes very easily and natural. What's something that you had to work really hard at along the way? Because I feel like you're so hardworking and like a hustler. What's something that was the hardest that you wanted to improve on?
Well, you always want to, like, I don't need to like share my opinions about everything all the time. And like my friend Mary is always like, you don't need to give everybody the truth. It's none of their business, first of all. And you only save that for the people you really care about. And my problem, it's not as much of a professional problem as it is a personal problem. If somebody does something that I don't like, I can't not say something. Or I can't say that really hurt my feelings, or I think that's fucked up, or I think you're fucked up. Like, I don't have that gene. I've been getting better, but it's really difficult for me not to say exactly what's on my mind. And I can't be nice to people that I don't like. I don't have that thing either. And that doesn't work well in, business situations a lot.
Sure. Who's been someone in your career that you felt helped build you up? I guess that was a woman.
Well, Sarah Silverman and Gloria Steinem were on the show together last week, and they are two people I've always looked up to. I mean, Sarah, because she's so brave, and the Gloria Steinem for the same reason. I mean, Gloria Steinem helped pave the way. I think it's interesting to think about, just because you don't necessarily like, even if you don't like a woman, you have to give credit to all the women that helped every single woman today get where they are. There are so many people like that. So even if you don't like somebody, but they came ahead of you and they did groundbreaking stuff, you kind of have to acknowledge that, Like Joan Rivers and I weren't friends, but she did definitely open so many doors for me. Right. And for me to not acknowledge that is being an asshole. So here I am acknowledging it.
Has there ever been a time where...
Sorry, I'm so stuffed up. I sound like one of those, what is that? Anyway, yeah.
Are you okay?
I have a just allergy situation, but that's okay. I'm just going to die soon.
Did you ever, so I'm about to turn 30 and I just want to hear like what was going on in your mind at 30 and where you...
30 is great. I mean, first of all, it's just exciting it's exciting to be alive. So you can't have any of that bullshit like, I'm old. Fuck off. Yeah. You could be dead. You could have cancer. You could be in the hospital. So just be happy you're alive.
Yes.
So you're going to start with that. And I don't know, every decade is a whole new adventure. So like 30 is what, 40 is what 30 was, and 30 is what 20 was, or whatever, vice versa. So I think it's just, you have to look at everything as a new adventure. Like, it's like, okay, I'm 30 now. Shit's about to, I didn't really get my shit together in a huge way until I was 30, 31, 32. That's when I started to get my career going, and my last show on E! started when I was 32. And so, I don't know, there's a lot to be said for just, you're not going to get the life you want until you work for it for a while. So aging is part of getting closer to all of the things that you want.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited for, I feel like I'm almost embarrassed for my 20-year-old self.
Yeah, 20s are embarrassing. I mean, I'm more proud of the way I conducted myself in my 30s than in my 20s, definitely. 20s, I was like, oh God, I could have died.
I'm also obsessed with talking about relationships and marriage. Do you believe in soulmates?
I don't know if I believe in soulmates. I think if you do believe in that, I think my sister's my soulmate, if you believe in that, I believe in many soulmates. If I believe in souls, I don't know, that's the lifelong question. Do we believe in God? Do we believe in all that shit? If you believe in God, that means you believe in souls, and vice versa. They kind of go together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of people you connect with and you feel like you've met before because there's just a special bond.
Yeah.
Whether you've known them from a past life or not, I don't know the answer to that. But I don't believe in one soulmate. If I do believe in souls and soulmates, I don't believe that there's one. I think there are many, and they come in the shapes of dogs, animals, women, men. It's not necessarily the person you fall in love with. It could be your mom.
Yeah. What I saw an interview where you said your mom was spiritual.
Yeah.
What did you maybe learn from her that you
My mom was really sweet, and she was religious also, but she was very spiritual. She was more about. She could see life in a bigger way than I could as a kid, obviously. But she was able to say, she knew from a very early age to me, she's like, you're going to have a very big life. That's who you are. You're going to go, and she's like, and your sister's not like that. She's going to be quiet, and she's like, and you're going to need to take care of her when you're older. And my sister's 5 years older than me. And I remember as a little girl being like, what? Why do I have to take care of her? She should be taking care of me. But she was so sagacious. Like, she could see just the way the world was going to work out in 20 years, you know? And whether she made that happen or she just made that prediction, I don't know. But she was just spiritual in that way. Like, she just had a way of looking at things that was sweeter. Like, my best friend from high school told me after my mom passed away that my mom was the first person who ever told her she loved her. And I was like, what? You did? I'm like, I didn't know my mom told you she loved you all the time. She goes, she was the only person, because her own parents didn't tell her. And I thought, oh my God. But that was my mom. Like, she just knew when somebody like needed, you know, extra love. She was like extra juicy and lovable. You wanted to just like hold on to her little meat. She was like chunky, and you just were like, ugh.
Oh,
yeah, she was
so
really
sweet.
cute.
I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah.
Was there a time that you didn't know what you were good at? Did you ever
Yeah.
feel like a little lost, like
Yeah, I
not
used to
sure
do
what direction to go?
Yeah, I used to do temp work. Like, I used to get fired from every job, and I was like, what if this doesn't happen for me? Like, what if I don't become successful in this medium, and what am I going to do? Because I have no skill set. And yeah, I was like, there were many times, even throughout your career, I'm like, you know, when I left E, I was like, I'll probably just go travel for a few years and then maybe come back to the business and figure out what I'm going to do. And then that didn't happen because all the stuff started happening, and people were like, take this meeting, and then before you know it, I've signed up to do another show. And I was like, okay, well, if I want this to be meaningful, then I have to really take a year off and go find myself and find out what this show is going to be about and what I'm interested in, and doing something that I'm going to be proud of.
So but did you ever really feel like giving up? Because it doesn't sound like.
No, I don't think I was ever going to give up. I think I always said to myself, if I'm still waitressing at 30, I'm going to stop and try and find another career. Yeah. And I wasn't waitressing when I was 30. Like, that was my thing. I'm like, if I'm still waitressing when I'm 30, because I came out here when I was 20. So I was like, 10 years of waitressing is a signal that you are going to be waitressing for another 10.
With your friends who maybe do have healthy marriages, what do they say is like the key to a successful marriage? Like, what have you?
I think honesty. You've really got to be honest about everything. Anybody who lies, one lie turns into like 15. And you know that from being a person. So I think with couples that stay together and that have healthy marriages, they just really are open, and they're friends. Like, you have to be buddies.
Yeah. I know you guys actually were just talking about it today. Would you want to date someone? What kind of guy do you want to date? Where you're like, do you want someone in the entertainment industry so they can relate to like your world, or do you want someone that's not even a part of that, or does it?
I don't know what the fuck I want. I mean, I don't know. Like, sometimes I'm like, I'll never date an actor, and then sometimes I'm like, well, who the hell am I going to meet? You know, and then I'm like, well, we need politicians on the show. I want to date a politician. I need somebody who's like, I'd like to not date somebody in this business. I don't care enough. You know, I want somebody who's really smart and like educated, and not that actors aren't, because some actually are very educated, but I just want someone who's completely got a different life than me. I think that's exciting. You know, somebody
you can,
who
like, learn from that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want more of this shit. You know?
Yeah. We ask everyone if you could have a drink with anyone, you could be dead or alive, who would it be?
Probably Barack Obama. I'm really crushing on him right now.
Yeah.
It's a big time. Fucking love that guy.
Where would you want the drink to take place?
Here, alone. Nobody watching.
Drinking.
I just love Barack Obama. I won't do anything with him, but I wouldn't even want to be filmed. I just want to talk to him alone. Yeah. I just want to talk about his marriage, and like I like a man who's like honorable, and he's so thoughtful and inspiring. I'd want to talk about his family and the things that like his mom said to him when he was a little kid that instilled such like, you know, such character. Yeah. Things that he remembers from his childhood. I mean, I'm curious about that. I'm curious about his relationship with his girls and the impact that he has on them, because when you have such a huge impact on the whole world, not just our country, like a global impact, I mean, you must really measure how you're going to have an impact on the people that are the closest to you. Right. Because a lot of people miss that boat.
Yeah. I also want to know, like, what's his morning routine? Like, how many cups of coffee?
Yeah, I want to know all that shit too. I want to know exactly what's going on, how often they have sex, like all the questions that nobody would answer. So.
Right. What would you like ask Hillary over a drink?
I would want to have drinks with Hillary with her daughter, because I think Yeah, I want her to just chill out and have fun because I've heard she's fun and gregarious and like she can throw back. Like I know people that say that, like people I trust have told me like you don't understand. And when she's at dinner, she's a totally different person. But I think also around her daughter, she'd be more relaxed, and I'd like to see their relationship.
Yeah, I always like asking people like, where are you the happiest?
Right now, I'm the happiest at work.
At work.
Yeah, I like being here. It's really fulfilling, and I really feel like I'm busy all day. Like I just feel like I'm really doing something. So right now, I mean, ask me if I'm dating somebody, I'll probably be like fucking, but I'm not dating anybody, so I'm really happy working.
Yeah. What's your morning routine? Do you drink coffee?
I get up, I harass my dogs, I wake them up, and then I get up early, like 6:37, and then I get up, take a shower, usually before I work out. That's my special way. I have a special approach to that. Then I come to work, I go to my meeting, then I go to the gym here on the lot and with my trainer or whatever I'm doing that day. Today I did Pilates. And then, yeah, I don't drink coffee, no.
No caffeine?
No, I'm a tea, like sometimes I'll have a hot tea, but I don't really, I'm not a caffeine, like I don't need caffeine.
A lot of successful people do not drink.
I don't mind it. I mean, I don't like the taste of coffee.
Yeah.
I just am like, it's boring. I like it like an ice blended mocha frappuccino. I think it's fun, but I'm not going to drink that every day.
Right. So cheers. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, honey.
Thanks again.
Thanks.
For
Nice to
everything
meet
you're
you.
doing and talking about interesting things on your show.
Thanks.
So.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Nice skin, by the way. Nice and soft. Sharon, let's go.